Hello everyone, and welcome back to Gone Legends. In today's video, we'll be taking a moment to remember and pay tribute to American celebrities who have sadly passed away today and in recent days, along with other notable figures from around the world. Before we begin, please take a second to show your love and support by giving this video a thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow and means a lot to us. Thank you. And now, let's begin.
In the quiet corners of her early life, long before the world knew her name, Joan Templeman learned how to rise from the kind of moments that try to break a person. She once stood at a crossroads where comfort slipped away, where love felt uncertain, and where the future seemed painfully unclear. But instead of collapsing under the weight of that chapter, she pushed forward, choosing strength, choosing dignity, choosing herself. It was in surviving that difficult time that the woman the world would later admire truly began to take shape. Joan Templeman, born in 1948 in Scotland, was never someone who chased fame or the spotlight. She didn't seek the stage, the cameras, or the applause. Instead, she became known for something far rarer, a quiet, unwavering grace, and a presence that brought stability to one of the most unpredictable men in modern entrepreneurship, Sir Richard Branson. Her story was not one of glamour, but of grounding. Not of celebrity, but of soul. Joan grew up in a working-class family, raised among the values of resilience, loyalty, and humility. Those early years weren't easy. Life made her familiar with struggle, with long days, with sacrifice, and with the realization that the world doesn't hand out miracles. You build them. These hardships sharpened her instincts and deepened her compassion. And later, they became the heart of her strength. Before she ever became a symbol of steadiness in Branson's tempestuous world, Joan faced personal heartbreaks, including the end of a previous relationship and the weight of starting over. But starting over is what she did best. She rebuilt herself piece by piece, guided not by ambition, but by a quiet determination to live with truth and purpose. When she eventually crossed paths with Richard Branson, she didn't fall for the fame or fortune. She saw the man, the restless dreamer, the immortal risk-taker, the one who needed someone who could keep him tethered to the earth while he chased the sky. And Branson saw in Joan what few women possessed, a calm within his chaos. Their relationship wasn't immediate. It wasn't effortless. But it was real. Joan, through her patience and genuine heart, changed the course of his life. She pushed him to face his faults, to slow down, to listen, to think, and to be better. And in doing so, she became far more than a partner. She became a force of stability behind one of the most recognized entrepreneurs of the modern age. Her greatest achievements were not trophies or titles. They were emotional victories. They were the strength she gave to others. They were the family she built, the healing she offered, the transformation she inspired. But even a life built on love and resilience is not immune to tragedy. Joan and Richard endured heartbreaking loss, including the passing of their first daughter, Claire Sarah, shortly after birth. It was the kind of grief that can tear lives apart. But instead, Joan chose closeness over distance, unity over silence. She held her family together in a moment when the world felt brutally unfair. That strength became part of their legacy. Today, Joan Templeman is still alive, known not as a public celebrity, but as the beating heart behind a global empire, a woman who proved that influence doesn't come only from fame. Sometimes it comes from love, loyalty, and the quiet power of standing by someone through every rise and every fall. And so, we honor her. A woman who never asked for the spotlight, yet shaped the life of a man who lives his entire world inside it. A woman who turned pain into wisdom, heartbreak into purpose, and life's hardest moments into a foundation of strength. A woman whose legacy lives in every family she held together, every dream she encouraged, and every storm she helped someone survive. This is Joan Templeman, a quiet legend, a resilient spirit, and a reminder that sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones the world never sees. May her story continue to inspire courage, compassion, and the strength to rise, even when life asks you to rise alone. There comes a time in every life when the world seems heavier than it should. A time when doors seem closed, and the path forward is invisible. For a young Clint Eastwood, that time arrived long before the world knew his name. He was restless, unsure of himself, drifting through life with no real direction. He took odd jobs here and there, worked as a lifeguard, a paperboy, and even a grocery store clerk. He was a man searching, yearning, but not yet finding. He felt out of place, out of step with the world around him, and unsure of what he was meant to do. Life felt uncertain, and yet, hidden within that uncertainty was the seed of something remarkable. Clinton Eastwood Jr., born May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California, came from humble beginnings. His father, Clinton Eastwood Sr., was a moderately successful accountant, and his mother, Margaret Ruth, was a pianist and musician who encouraged creativity in her children. Clint grew up in a modest home with a strong work ethic instilled by his parents, but he was far from the poised, commanding figure the world would one day know. He was shy, awkward, and often struggled socially, the quiet observer in a world that seemed to reward loudness and confidence. During his youth, Clint faced struggles many would find familiar: finding one's identity, battling self-doubt, and searching for a purpose. But even as a teenager, there was something different about him: an intensity, a focus, and an almost stubborn determination to carve out a life that was entirely his own. This inner fire would become the compass guiding him through the challenges ahead. After high school, Clint was drafted into the United States Army during the Korean War era. He never saw combat, but the discipline and structure of military life left a mark on him. It was here, away from the distractions of home and the uncertainty of civilian life, that Clint discovered an inner resilience he didn't know he had. The Army taught him patience, perseverance, and the quiet strength of enduring hardships without complaint. These lessons, though unglamorous, would become the backbone of his legendary career. After leaving the Army, Clint drifted for a while, unsure of what to do next. He tried a few odd jobs and even briefly pursued a career in athletics, hoping to become a professional swimmer, a dream that never materialized. At one point, he felt utterly lost, unsure if he would ever find a calling that suited him. Yet, fate has a way of intervening, often in the most unexpected ways. For Clint, it came in the form of Hollywood. Hollywood, for most young hopefuls, is a land of glittering promises and harsh rejections. For Clint Eastwood, it was both. He started with minor, often forgettable roles, appearing in films like Revenge of the Creature and Francis in the Navy. He faced rejection after rejection, each one a test of his resolve. Yet, he refused to quit. He refused to settle. Every small role was a stepping stone, every rejection a lesson in patience. His first real breakthrough came with Rawhide, a television western that premiered in 1959. Clint played Rowdy Yates, a young and determined cowboy navigating the challenges of the American frontier. The show was a hit, and for the first time, Clint Eastwood felt that maybe, just maybe, he had found his place. Yet, even with the success of Rawhide, he knew this was only the beginning. He was not satisfied with being just another television actor. He wanted more. He wanted to leave a mark. He wanted to redefine what it meant to be a leading man in Hollywood. That opportunity arrived in the early 1960s, in an unexpected place: Italy. Clint was cast in a low-budget spaghetti western directed by Sergio Leone. The film was a fistful of dollars, the first of the iconic Dollars trilogy. Clint's character, the enigmatic man with no name, spoke few words, yet commanded the screen with a steely presence that was impossible to ignore. The world took notice. Clint Eastwood was no longer just a television actor. He was becoming a global phenomenon. The Dollars trilogy would go on to transform the Western genre, introducing a new kind of anti-hero, quiet, ruthless, and morally complex. Clint's performance resonated because it was real. It was raw. It was unforgettable. After conquering the Western, Clint Eastwood faced another career-defining moment in the 1970s with Dirty Harry, the story of a relentless San Francisco cop who played by his own rules. Harry Callahan was tough, uncompromising, and unafraid to stand alone against injustice. The role cemented Clint's status as a cultural icon, a symbol of rugged determination, moral clarity, and the strength of the individual against a chaotic world. Films like Magnum Force and The Enforcer followed, establishing him as one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. Yet, Clint Eastwood was never content to merely act. He wanted to create, to control the stories he told. He stepped behind the camera, becoming a director, producer, and storyteller in his own right. His directorial debut, Play Misty for Me, showcased his talent for suspense, mood, and tension. It was the first hint that Clint's genius extended beyond his on-screen persona. In the decades that followed, Clint Eastwood directed and starred in some of cinema's most powerful and enduring films. Unforgiven, the 1992 Western that won multiple Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, showed his mastery of narrative, pacing, and character. The film was a meditation on violence, morality, and the consequences of a life lived on the fringes of society. Million Dollar Baby, another Oscar-winning masterpiece, explored themes of ambition, tragedy, and redemption, solidifying Clint's reputation as a filmmaker unafraid to confront the deepest human truths. But fame and acclaim did not shield Clint from life's challenges. He faced personal struggles that tested him deeply: complex relationships, family difficulties, and the pressures of living in the public eye. Every challenge, however, seemed to refine him rather than break him. Even in the face of criticism and controversy, Clint remained steadfast, guided by his own principles and a relentless work ethic. He never sought approval, only excellence. Clint Eastwood's career is remarkable not just for its longevity, but for its evolution. In his 70s, 80s, and now into his 90s, he continues to create films that are culturally and emotionally resonant. Gran Torino showcased a man confronting his own prejudices and regrets. Sully celebrated heroism in ordinary life. American Sniper explored duty and sacrifice, and The Mule reflected the passage of time and the consequences of choices. In every film, Clint Eastwood remains the same man he always was: disciplined, focused, and unafraid to explore the complexities of the human spirit. His legacy is more than his filmography. Clint Eastwood represents resilience, persistence, and the power of reinvention. He teaches us that true greatness is not a gift; it is earned through struggle, refined through discipline, and sustained by vision. From the uncertain young man drifting through odd jobs, to the commanding figure who shaped modern cinema, Clint Eastwood's journey is a testament to the transformative power of perseverance. Today, at over 90 years old, Clint Eastwood remains a towering figure in Hollywood. He is respected not just for his iconic performances or his award-winning films, but for the integrity, dedication, and quiet strength he embodies. His work continues to inspire filmmakers, actors, and audiences around the world. His films are studied, celebrated, and remembered for generations. His presence reminds us that age is not a limit, that passion can endure, and that greatness is achieved by those who refuse to be ordinary. Clint Eastwood is more than a legendary actor or filmmaker. He is a symbol of perseverance, resilience, and artistic courage. He turned doubt into determination, silence into power, and struggles into triumphs. His life reminds us that legends are not born; they are forged in the fires of hardship, patience, and unwavering dedication. As we reflect on his extraordinary journey, we honor not only the characters he brought to life, but the man who became a legend simply by refusing to quit. Clint Eastwood is a living testament to the power of purpose, the beauty of discipline, and the enduring magic of storytelling. He is, and always will be, a gone legend.